What's up, creepers and geekers? Chris, the Atari Creep here. Hey, how is everyone doing today? I know I've been neglecting the gaming portion of this channel. I'm trying to keep it as balanced as I can, but I've been more in a creative mood lately than I have been in a mood to talk about video games and such. And I actually slotted this video for last week, but never really got around to it. So for that, I apologize. I did get one up yesterday talking about a new Atari product. We'll just call it that. A product coming out. No one really knows much about it. Some people are thinking it's just clickbait. Some people are thinking it's going to be a brand new console. Follow me on that journey. I can't wait to find out what this is. Again, going in very cautiously. But I am, as I said multiple times, I am optimistic about it. So, again, how's everyone doing? I wanted to do this video. I actually, like I said, slotted it for last week, but didn't get to it. But ironically, I wanted to do this video like 3 years ago, maybe even longer than that when I was still in Arizona. But I didn't do it because I lost the power supply for this specific console. And ironically, I'm talking about it now. I don't even own the console itself. So, that said, between wanting to do this, wanting to bring the gaming stuff back to my channel because I've neglected it, and Mr. BTB of Jagbar, 7800 Avenue, and the Lynx Lounge fame, did a video on this console about a week and a half ago. He did throw a little shout out to me, and he looks good in his official Atari Creep hat, as he calls it. But I just basically saw that and was just like, okay, it's time to talk about it. I got a few ideas on the subject, so why not get it out now? Now, before I do get into it, I want to just say first and foremost, most of what I'm going to say is not going to possibly be fact. I will throw facts out there. But a lot of this is going to be speculation. It's going to be how I feel and what I think was going on in the minds of Atari at the time. Now, all that out of the way, people often ask me, what is your favorite Atari console of all time? And a lot of times I think people confuse that with what would you recommend. Because if the 5200 was my favorite console of all time, and I do know a couple of guys out there like that, for Atari products, that is. I don't necessarily think that they would recommend it. It may be their favorite, maybe the one that they got their hands on, and they played a lot as a kid, and they got used to its personality and its little quirks. But those personality and quirks wouldn't translate to now, and it would probably frustrate people. And a lot of times, some of these consoles that are your favorite may become expensive to collect for to begin with. So generally, what's your favorite and what would you recommend are two completely different things. And that's a great example here. Because if you ask me about what my favorite Atari console of all time is, I would honestly say the one I'm talking about today. And I don't talk enough about it. The console being the Atari XEGS. What one would I recommend? The 7800 all the way. It's a newer console. It's nice looking. It would look good on any shelf today, and it plays both 2600 and the small library 7800 games. So, just to get that out of the way, that's what I would recommend. If you can get one from a reputable dealer and you make sure the power supply comes with it, you're good to go. You have hundreds and hundreds of games at your disposal. My favorite console, though, is the XEGS, for a number of reasons, because it's just weird. It's the little console that could have, but never got to. This is a console, if they had brought it out at the right time and marketed it appropriately and didn't put pastel all over it, though I believe it came out in '87. I'll double check that. It was appropriate for the time, but I think this is the one that could have competed with Nintendo and Sega. 2600 was huge, and then they came out with the 5200 and it failed. 2600 kept going on. And between Atari and a handful of other companies, they drove the market to the ground. The crash happened. We had about a year rest of video game crap. Nintendo comes out like a phoenix with the Nintendo Entertainment System, bringing video games back into the market share and making it a household thing again. We went from saying we're playing Atari regardless of the system to we're playing Nintendo regardless of the system. So Atari sees this and they're like, you know what? We had that thing we were going to release back in '84, which would have been perfect for the time had the crash not happened. Now, going on another left turn here, thinking back now, maybe they should have gambled and released a 7800 back in '84. Even though there was a crash, maybe it could have revitalized it. I doubt it, but who knows? Side thought over. But they've had the system sitting around for a while, and the mindset of Atari, as far as on a corporate level, they wanted to focus more on home computers anyway. They had no faith in this video game stuff. The dude hated video games. Computers are where it's at, and that's really all there is to it. But Nintendo comes along and revitalizes the market, and they figure, all these games, let's throw out the 7800. It'll play all the old stuff that we have back stock on, and of course we can produce new stuff. And unfortunately, because the system was dated by 3 or 4 years and wouldn't be considered what we would say a next-gen system for the time, just didn't do it. So now we're going back into the whole computer thing. Atari's doing fairly well with the XE systems. All the 8-bit computers have sold very well for Atari. We got a couple things going on here, though. Yes, they play video games. And in a lot of consumers' mindset, especially after the crash, they're thinking, why buy Johnny a machine to play just video games when I can buy a system that not only plays Space Invaders, not only plays Pitfall, not only plays Kaboom, Missile Command, all the great classics, but when Johnny's in school, Mom can balance a checkbook. Dad can come home and do a report for work. Johnny can come home from school and write up his school papers on there. So it made more sense to focus on the computer line. Computers are a little more expensive than an actual game console, however, and some people were able to scrape up the money. Whereas others were like, well, computers are more of a tech thing, a geek thing, and they felt it was out of reach for them. It wasn't within their comfort zone. They felt you had to be a brainiac to get it. So you have this weird balance in the air of what computers are here in the early days of home computing. And some people opted out just to buy the cheaper version, a console, because now consoles and games are really cheap. So you get this weird conflicting thing going on, and then Atari realizes, well, we have this huge backstock of cartridges for our 8-bit systems. Some people still want the console thing, and other people have this stigma about owning computers. It's out of reach for them, both on a mental and a physical and a financial standpoint. So this is where speculation comes in, and I think they said, you know what, let's market a machine that's more geared towards the gaming system, but has the benefits of the computer stuff. We won't call it a computer, and that way it'll sell. So they came up with the XEGS, which is basically a hybrid, a bastard version of the XE computer line with a game system, and that's where the GS comes in. And it's compatible with all this backstock of computer stuff and all the stuff in the forefront that they were going to release with it. Problem is with Atari, history has shown that they don't do new stuff. With every system, the catalog, with some exceptions, is always the same thing, just with a better graphics and maybe better sound. And had they released this instead of the 7800, again, personal speculation, and really marketed it right, and really pushed it, and again, got rid of those fucking pastel colors, and worked on game development, new stuff, not just Space Invaders again, not just Lock and Chase again, not just this again, because they just kept rehashing the same crap over and over again. And people were like, I'm fine with my 2600 copy. Stop selling me the same thing over and over again. Had they not done that, had they just moved forward, said this is a great machine, and even Mark over at Classic Game Room coins his machine, the 5200 that works, and pushed forward, I think they could have competed. I don't think they would have taken too much of the market share away from Nintendo. And Nintendo did have that illegal stronghold on third-party developers, but I think they could have stayed in the game. The system itself, it's a great system. If I were to pick any system I could own in its catalog, it would be the XEGS. It's simple. It does all the other stuff that people want it to do. It plays the games. They look great, and they sound great. So that's just my little rant about the XEGS game system. Again, it's the reverse hybrid of a computer that plays video games. It's a video game system that plays computer, so to speak. And had it come out at the right time, I think Atari wouldn't have fizzled out into crap. And they probably would have been a little more prominent in the market today, hopefully. Maybe they just would have went the Sega route and just started developing games and stayed in that market like they had. But I don't know. It could have gone completely different, I think, if they released that instead of the 7800. So what do you think? I mean, we have a new something coming from Atari here in the horizon. So I guess everything I just said was a dead issue. But who knows? Who knows what could have happened for Atari had they released it? But it's a very interesting system that I don't think a lot of people know about. And it plays all your classic Atari games. They look great. They sound great. It's just, Atari kept doing the same crap, and eventually it fizzled away. So what are your thoughts on the XEGS? Do you own one? Do you like it? What is your favorite Atari versus what you would recommend to somebody? And with that, I'm half awake and I don't feel well, so I hope this wasn't too much of a rambling, incohesive mess. But with that, guys, thank you always so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Go ahead and leave feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All feedback's positive. Notice I've gained a couple of new subscriptions. Thank you so much for coming aboard. Whether you're here for my Million Macabre stuff, whether you're here for my Atari and other video game stuff, thank you so much for coming on board. And got a lot of content coming up. A lot of all of the above. So I hope you stick around with me. I hope this channel grows. And with that, everyone, take care. Thanks for watching. Hey, what's up, folks? The Creep here. Thank you, as always, so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more. You can follow The Creep on social media, and feel free to reach out at any time here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Creep would love to hear from you. And as always, thank you, take care, and bye-bye.